Welcome back to your Week 9 Mason Football pregame podcast. We've got another week here for you with Daniel Pennetti, and I'm your other host, Braden Johansen. Daniel, what are we starting off with today?
It is Week 9 of the season. Like you said, the Mason Comets are going to Lakota to take on the Thunderbirds, and it's been about 5 years since the Comets have taken down the Thunderbirds, last time being 2018. The Comets, they just went down to the Sycamore Aviators, going to 4-4 on the season, 4-3 in the GMC, and Lakota is on a roll better than ever. They went down the first couple of weeks to St. Xavier and to Princeton, but ever since that, they've been undefeated. They're 6-0 after those first two games, and not only have they just been winning, they've been winning convincingly, putting up 30 points in all those games, including a 59-7 win over Oak Hills. It's going to be a big test for Mason, especially this defense.
Especially this defense, of course. Where Mason's offense is concerned, been a more running offense, which will be good to combat one of West's most defensive weapons, Tabron Benny, who has the second most interceptions in the GMC right now. So a big thing is going to be getting the ball on the ground and running it and pushing it up the field, going play-by-play, taking it drive-by-drive.
Yeah, that's probably where Mason is going to execute best on the offensive side. Lakota, they have overall the best defense according to GMC. First overall, they give up 7 points a game, and they're second overall in rushing and first in passing. So Lakota, they've been known for their defense these past couple of years, and even though they lost a couple of guys, they're still that powerhouse that they were, especially last year with that amazing secondary that they had. So Mason, it's been a rocky season for the offense, but they have been starting to kind of find their groove as we get closer and closer to the playoffs. After tonight, it's only going to be one more game, so you're facing a defense at this caliber. You're pretty excited to see what you're going to get.
And with that defense, you also have the trademark West offense to come with it, where they have the most points for them in the GMC over Princeton, who is undefeated. Lakota West has 202 points for them, whereas Princeton only has 180. And they've allowed 10 less points than Princeton altogether. So without those two losses in the beginning of the year, you kind of have a superstar team there that's going to be hard to combat for Mason.
Yeah, and it seems like what really took this offense from those first couple of games to now is switching to the junior quarterback, Sam Wiles. He has been incredible this year. Last week against East, went 9 for 10, 156 yards and a touchdown. And this offense, ever since they put him back in, like we said, they're scoring 30-plus points a game. They played East, and East has one of the best throwers in the GMC, Mason Comets, the son of a former Bengal quarterback, and he didn't even get over 100 yards last week. That just shows you how good of a defense Lakota West has. So, Mason, you're going to have to do something probably more creative than you've done all year on the offensive side. I'm excited to see what Kastner and Coach Little do to try to combat this star-level defense.
Yeah, big week for Mason here, coming off a loss to Sycamore, who are both now even for fourth in the GMC. Kind of more of a emotional bounce-back week for Mason we have here. Kind of like a Rocky story, underdog, just kind of staying with them, more of a hang with them and keep hopes high heading into what could be the end of the season, and just trying to make sure that you have what it takes to take your own spirit into next games.
Yeah. You only have one more game after this, so especially on the defensive side, that's where the matchups are going to be best. Is this West offense against this Mason defense? They're going to need some of their guys to step up. The junior breakout Noah Dowers has had such an incredible season. One of the best linebackers in the GMC, Kai Wolfalk, who could potentially be a first-team All-GMC. They're going to need guys like that to step up. The defensive line, the sophomores, Juan Bates and Jonathan Hendricks. Bates is coming off one of his best games last week, so they hope that they can keep that going.
Kai Wolfolk, one of Mason's star commits, committed to Army for college, and just shows you kind of Mason way of being rigorous. You know how that's going to be out in college, especially at Army, where you're going to have just that schedule and all that regimen that you're going to have to go through. You got to be prepared for that, and I think Mason does a very good job of setting guys up for that.
Yeah, so when we'll end this up by going back to that run game that we said earlier, how Mason's going to win. Last week it wasn't necessarily a great game for the run game. They only had about 40 yards on the ground. Sycamore, they have a great run defense, but Lakota West, they have an even better one. So seeing the guys who could make some noise on the ground. Of course, Chase Blevins, Adesanya as well. They're going to need a big game from those guys. Overall, this entire team, they're coming in as the underdogs. They're going to have to step up and really show that they can compete right now, and especially going into the playoffs. Looking at the next week after this, it's only one game left. West, they have Hamilton, and Mason has Lakota East. So it's coming down to the wire in the GMC, and I'm excited to see how it's going to play out.
Me too, Daniel. We'll let you go now. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and we hope you have a great time of the game tonight. Go Comets.